Hello, and welcome to Steve's Mixtapes. I'm very excited to say my guest mixer this week was a founding member of The Fall. He played with them in the late 70s and then rejoined them briefly in the late 80s. He went on to form the influential post-punk band The Blue Orchids and is now the figurehead, I guess you might say, of the ex-Fall members supergroup House of All. He is, of course, Martin Bramah. Welcome, Martin.
Hello. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. I know you're busy with rehearsals and BBC radio sessions and the new album coming out and everything. I'll ask you about a bit more about House of All later on. But I'm going to start off with the usual question I ask all my guest mixers, which is, do you have a box of old C90 compilations in the loft? Have you always been somebody for mixes and playlists?
Well, I don't have a box of C90s in the loft, no. I don't carry a lot of old music around with me. So no, I've got no CDs. No cassettes, sorry. No, I'm not a big mix tape maker. But,
Are you listening to whole album sort of person?
It depends on my mood. Yeah, obviously, I grew up with albums, so I like the album format. But I like dipping into things as well, just the odd track. On YouTube these days, like a lot of people.
Last time I spoke to Paul Hanley, he said nobody listens to whole albums anymore. I'm not sure that's entirely true.
Very trendy of you to say that. Very on point.
Let's get to some music. So the first category is Hit the Ground Running. So I ask you to start the mix with something to set the pulse racing a bit. You've chosen a band from Brooklyn in New York, not one I was particularly familiar with. Do you want to tell us about this choice?
Well, they're probably one of my favourite bands of the last 15 or so years. I think they originally hailed from Florida, but relocated to New York. I just think they're a really cool sounding band, big fan. So I thought it's a good choice. Nice upbeat tune.
Yeah, I looked up. There's a review of this album that says this is typical music journo speak. As we trek across these dark plains of sound, the manic bop of early rockabilly becomes the dark buzz of surf rock psychedelia, becomes the hip sleaze of state-sized punk. Is that a reasonable description, would you say?
Say that was a bit of a word salad, really. That's covering a lot of bases and playing it safe journalistically. So
yes, it also sounds like somebody who's been paid by the word.
Yeah, it does, right.
All right, well, let's hear it now. This is Crystal Stilts, and it is Blood Barons. Blood Barons by Crystal Stilts from their 2011 album In Love with Oblivion. Now, we're next going to Martin's Something Old track. He's gone for something that was released as a single in 1964. Morrissey has cropped up in conversation on a few of these mixes already. And that only sprang to mind because I know Morrissey is a big fan of this artist. Where do you stand on Morrissey?
On Morrissey? I like a lot of his stuff. Yeah, he's a very intelligent writer. You know, he's got his own opinions, which he's entitled to. I think I prefer his solo stuff to the Smiths. I wasn't a big fan of the Smiths in the 80s. But he's kind of grown on me, yeah.
So you're not one of these people who finds it like hard to listen to him because you don't agree with his political viewpoints, which some people do.
No, I don't find it hard to listen to him at all.
The one you've chosen is Cilla Black. Are you a big Cilla fan?
No, not particularly. I mean, I chose this song because it's one of the first songs that moved me as a child. I can remember, being really young. I think it'd obviously just been released and I heard it on the radio. And like I said, I must have been 6 or something like that. And I was like emotionally moved in a mature way. It's quite a profound moment. For a little boy to kind of feel, I was actually moved by the sentiment of the song, so it stayed with me. But it's just this one song. I mean, Cilla was great when she started out, but once she became like a chat show host and a game show host and all those things, that all the coolness got lost.
Yeah. I did know that Dionne Warwick had also done this song.
Yeah, she did.
What I didn't know is it was quite a bone of contention between the two of them. Apparently, well, I mean, it says on Wikipedia that Cilla Black's version being a bigger hit was a sore point with Dionne Warwick, and Cilla Black said Dionne was dead choked, and she's never forgiven me to this day. So that was something I learned when preparing for this. So anyway, let's hear it. This is Cilla Black with Anyone Who Had a Heart.
Anyone who ever loved could look at me and know that I love you. Anyone who ever dreamed could look at me and know I dream of you. Knowing I love you so. Anyone who had a heart would take me in his arms and love me too. Who couldn't be another heart that hurt me like you hurt me and be so untrue? What am I to do? Every time you go away, I always say, this time it's goodbye, dear. Loving you the way I do, I take you back. Without you I'd die, dear. Knowing I love you so. Anyone who had a heart would take me in his arms and love me too. Who couldn't be another heart that hurt me like you hurt me and be so untrue? What am I to do? Knowing I love you so. Anyone who had a heart would take me in his arms and love me too. Who couldn't be another heart that hurt me like you hurt me and be so untrue? Anyone who had a heart would love me too. Anyone who had a heart would simply take me in his arms and always love me. Why won't you? Yeah.
Now we're moving on to something new, Choice. Before we get to the actual song, how well do you think you manage to keep up with what's coming out? Because there's so many, like tens of thousands of albums come out every year. It almost feels a bit overwhelming at times.
It does. I mean, I like to listen to new music. I'm not someone who kind of just listens to the stuff that I liked when I was a teenager. I like to move on in my taste. So you can't. I don't listen to everything. I don't try to, but things catch your ear, and I always give them a chance. I prefer listening to new things to just playing my favorite albums. It's like when you said do a top 10. Or whatever it was. I haven't got a top 10 songs. I quite often have to do these kind of top 10 things. So it's like to say it's like a mixtape really. It's just the mood I was in that day. I just pick some tunes, and that's it. So
okay, well,
yeah.
The one you've gone for was according to Pitchfork, and how much you value their opinion. Your mileage may vary. They thought it was the best album of last year. It's quite the sprawling epic. It's Diamond Jubilee by Cindy Lee. I have listened to it a couple of times. It's quite a hard album to get your head around, isn't it? Because it's so sprawling.
I like it because it's got that lo-fi quality, and it's not in a rush to kind of win you over. It's not, it's not like full of instant hooks and strong melodies. It kind of drifts and draws you in. There's some nice guitar work on it, and kind of haunting vocal quality. And it's a mixture of kind of trashy and thoughtful, reflective. It's edgy in its way.
Yeah, this one, Dracula, it's more of a groove than a song, as much as anything, isn't it?
Yeah. But you wanted something released in the last 12 months, and this caught my ear. I thought, I'll throw that in. Yeah.
All right, well, let's hear it. This is from Diamond Jubilee. This is Dracula. we're going on to your Something Borrowed track, and you've actually saved me from a dilemma here, Martin, because I was putting together one of my own playlists, and I was doing a mix of female artists, or at least bands with female vocalists, and I decided I was going to choose a song from this album. And I was dithering terribly about which one I was going to choose. It was any of the first three songs of this album I was going to choose, possibly for the Something Blue bit. But then I got your email with your list on, and you've chosen something, so I had to go back and rethink. So this is Nico from Chelsea Girl, and of course you knew Nico. You toured with her with the Blue Orchids back in '82, I think it was. So you knew her. What are your memories of her?
Well, I was a massive fan as a teenager. I had all her albums, in the 70s. And I was, sort of a massive fan of her work. I never expected to meet her. Most person I was most least likely to meet, kind of thing. And then she turned up in Manchester, remarkably. She was staying in a hotel just down the road from me. And my manager at the time, Alan Wise, phoned me up one day and said, have you heard of this German woman called Nico? And I was like... yeah. So she was looking for a backing band, and so he drove me around to the Polex Hotel in Whalley Range, and there she was. I was a massive fan of her. I got to work with her. It was amazing getting to know her, but obviously by the time I knew her, she had a massive heroin habit, and so after a year or so, I kind of had my belly full of all that. Half of the band had become heroin addicts in the meantime, because it was so available around her. So it was quite a blow to Blue Orchids at the time. So I parted company with her in the end. So yeah, it's a shame. She was an amazing person, but yes, a slave to the junk kind of thing.
The song you've chosen, it's sort of a cover. It's a Dylan cover,
yeah.
But it's not a song he ever properly officially recorded. Well, it is out there officially because every time Bob Dylan's coughed in the studio, it's been released on a box set somewhere now. But he had a couple of goes at it in early '60s, and then he tried to record again for Blonde on Blonde. But Judy Collins did it. Fairport Convention did it. I would say Nico's version is by far the best.
Easily the best. Nobody did it like Nico. It's interesting to hear Dylan's demos of it, and then what the elements Nico took from it melodically and made it her own. But I'm not sure if he wrote it for Nico. I think I've read somewhere that he wrote it for her to perform. But she certainly did the definitive version of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here it is. This is Nico with I'll Keep It With Mine.
Search, babe, at any cost. But how long, babe, can you search for what's not lost? Everybody will help you. Some people are very but if I can save you any time, come on, give it to me. I keep it with mine. I can't help it. You might think I'm odd if I say I'm not loving you for what you are, but for what you're not. Everybody will help you discover what you set out to find. But if I can save you any time, conductor. He's weary, still stuck on the line. But if I can save you any time, come on, give it to me. I keep it with mine.
I'll Keep It With Mine by Nico from her 1967 album Chelsea Girl. So, House of All's new album came out yesterday. I think we're talking on the 15th of February. I think it came out yesterday. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. House of All Souls.
Yeah.
Obviously, I haven't heard much of it. Yeah, I heard the songs that you did for Mark Riley earlier this week. Enjoyed those a great deal. House of All Souls sounds like it has a bit of a religious or spiritual bent. Is that true?
Yeah. I'm kind of found myself reflecting on various aspects of religion, Western religion, Christianity, its darker side, and maybe, a certain purity within it once you get past all the crap that's accumulated on the top of any spiritual element there was to it. Yeah, so just pursuing themes. I'm not, trying to make a point or convert anyone to anything. It's just issues that are kind of bubbling around in my own mind that I wanted to explore. Interesting themes. I just thought there's a rich scene there.
And you've stuck with the recording process from the first two, so you basically just turn up and see what happens.
Yeah, that's where we work. I write the words completely separately. I try not to. I'm not thinking of music when I write words these days. I've got more of a process for writing the words, and then once we've got backing tracks down from working spontaneously in the studio, I then just sit with, say, the 10 backing tracks, and I've picked out 10 lots of lyrics. And I just go, which one? It's like a puzzle, as I've said before. It's like just working out, well, that kind of goes with that. So if I edit this bit out and move that around a bit, it'll fit. It's just like not being too precious with the words I've written, making them work with the tunes that are before me. And it's surprising how synchronistic it can be and how things come together. It just all falls into place. You have to once you put the work in, pay some attention to what it is, and be prepared to kind of delete stuff you thought was maybe good in isolation but doesn't work with the music. So it's a process, and like I say, it's like solving a little puzzle, which I quite enjoy. And it kind of speeds up the writing process as well, rather than being precious and waiting for some genius idea to come to complete.
And of course, one thing that caused a great deal of excitement in the world of Fall fans was the reappearance of Mr. Burns.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you about where he's been or any of that sort of nonsense, because my theory is that Carl's just been living his life and choosing to get on with things without being bothered by people.
Yeah.
But am I right in thinking, so there's three drummers, but there's only two of them ever on any track at one time?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. The team drumming or musical drum stills, you might say.
Because in all this nonsense talked about Carl, about all this mystery and wonder about where he's been. Sometimes people forget he's just a bloody good drummer.
He's the best drummer I've ever worked with. He's an excellent drummer. He's always been very creative and attention to detail and inventive sorties within the beats. He's a great drummer, yeah, and he still is. It's been great to have him on this record.
Well, it was good to see the pictures you put on social media of him, because he's looking well. For a gentleman who is a bit renowned for enjoying the pleasures of life on the road and so on, he does look like he's been looking after himself. So I look forward to hearing him on this record. One last thing I wanted to ask you about House of All. You were obviously, I sort of lightheartedly call you the figurehead at the beginning, but obviously you put the group together.
Yeah.
But did you always see it as a long-term sort of more than one album project?
No, I wasn't even sure if it was a one album project. It was purely a shot to nothing. I really wanted to sort of just get in a room with them and record everything we did as a one-off, and to see if we could get an album out of it, obviously. But it was a one-off project. I just booked 3 days in the studio. As I've said before, we didn't get together and rehearse at all. Pete Greenway we'd never even met before, but graciously he turned up on the day, on time, and we just, set the drums up, plugged in, pressed record, and just started playing together. It's like Steve had a bass line, we got on it, and we had the first song, which turned out to be Aim Bite, the first track on the first album. And we just knew there's something happening here, it's going to work, it's going to be interesting. So we took a big chance, really. But it paid off, it was very rewarding. And so we stuck to that modus operandi. As we get more familiar with each other and the working process, the music's becoming a little bit more sophisticated, I suppose, slightly.
I know you said to Mark on the radio the other night that you weren't going to do any Fall covers. I know you probably won't tell me which ones, but is there going to be a cover at the end? Because you did, when I last saw you, did a Can song at the end of the gig.
Yeah, we're not doing any covers on this tour. No, we've got plenty of our own material. In the first tour, we had to do covers because we only had 8 songs. We had 8 songs of the first album, so I thought it'd be fun to do a Wet Leg cover and a Can cover. And we did that for the first 2 tours because we toured twice that year. And then last year, obviously, we did Lay of the Land because I promised I wouldn't do any Fall songs. So I thought this year we will do a Fall song, which a lot of people enjoyed hearing us do. There was a few dissenting voices. But anyway, this year we're just doing us Fall songs. We're going to do a straight through set with no encore, just to save time. We can get more music in. Because you waste a lot of time going off stage and coming back on again. It's a bit of a cliche. I always hate it, pretending it's the last song, waiting in the wings to be able to come back on. So there'll be none of that. We'll just do the set.
I would really agree with that. I'm a big fan of The Wedding Present. I don't know if you've ever met David Gedge. But I've probably seen The Wedding Present more often than any other band, and they've never done encores, which I approve of, because it is, like you say, it's horribly almost a bit cringy sometimes when you see people, particularly if it's a small gig and you can actually see them hanging around waiting to come back on. It's just a bit sad and needy, really. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. So your Something Blue choice, I have to say, is an artist that not only did I not know, but I was unable to find very much about. Where did you come across him?
Literally just pops up on my YouTube channel, and I liked it. I know nothing about him. I only it's something that I just discovered probably the day before you asked me to get the list together, and I just thought, oh, that'd be good, throw that in. It's the way I listen to music now. I'm always just surfing YouTube for stuff I've never heard before. There's still loads of stuff from the 20th century I've never heard of. It's all on YouTube, so I just like listening to new stuff,
Yeah. Well, it's
new stuff, new to me stuff,
You've actually gone for blue so far. The Something Blue category, everybody's gone for something a bit sad, but you've actually gone for some proper blues music. It's called Muddy River, which is a great title for a blues song. It's from, I know the only place I could find where it was from, say the artist is Bink Burns, who I couldn't find anything about really. It's from an album I think called Granddaddy's Rockin', Volume 5. Okay. That was released in 1995, but I think the song is from 58. Anyway, let's hear it anyway. This is Bink Burns with Muddy River.
My heart is broken.
Muddy River by Bing Burns, released, we think, in 1958. Now, for your Take It Down, the quieter moment on the mix, you've stayed in the 50s. What's the story behind this choice?
I just think it's a classic moody piece of kind of city blues. You know, it's kind of jazz blues, isn't it? But Viscount's Harlem Nocturne, it's just got so much character and so much atmosphere.
Fabulous sax playing. Harry Haller is the guy's name, I gather.
Okay, right, yeah, I didn't know that. But yeah, the sax is, I hate to use the word sexy, but it's pretty damn sexy.
Okay. It wasn't that big a hit when it first came out. It got to number 52 in America, but it did get the top 40. It was re-released in 1965. So let's hear it. This is Harlem Nocturne by the Viscounts. Right, we are going around the world for this choice, and we've been in various places on the episode so far, but this is our first visit to Costa Rica. Is this an artist you're a big fan of?
Yeah, I discovered Chevelle Varga just browsing the CD racks of Tower Records in the 1990s when I lived in London. Back then, I used to like to browse through record sleeves, and I just like the look of the sleeve, and like look at some of the titles of the songs and think, oh, that's an interesting title, and just take a chance without hearing it. So that's the case with Chevelle Varga. Something that drew me to the sleeve, and I purchased the CD, and there was, I think she's got an amazingly strong voice, and I love the nylon string guitars that accompany her, beautiful guitar interplay. And I like it. Her stuff doesn't have any drumming on it either, so it's kind of nice. The percussion's all in the guitar,
Okay. Apparently, she was known as my Spanish is terrible. La voz áspera de la ternura, which is the rough voice of tenderness.
But there you go, bit like me.
Anyway, so the song is called Luz de Luna, I think, which translates as Moonlight.
noche triste, para sentir divina la ilusión que me trajiste, para sentirte mía, mía tú como ninguna. Pues desde que te fuiste yo no he tenido luz de luna. Pues desde que te fuiste yo no he tenido luz de luna. Yo siento tus amarras como garfios, como garras que se ahogan en la playa de la farra y el dolor. Y siento tus cadenas arrastras en mi noche callada, que sea plenilunada, azul como ninguna. Pues desde que te fuiste yo no he tenido luz de luna. Pues desde que te fuiste yo no he tenido luz de luna. No vuelves nunca, provincianita mía, a mi selva querida que está triste y está fría. Al menos tu recuerdo ponga luz sobre mi bruma. Pues desde que te fuiste yo no he tenido luz de luna. Pues desde que te fuiste yo no he tenido luz de luna.
Amsterdam is a day, a hot and summer big apple city. No matter what names she goes under, I dig her deeply and no wonder, for she's been lovely to me, and I'm the better for having met her.
That was New Amsterdam by Moondog, and it was the left of centre choice of Martin Bramah, who is my guest on Steve Mixtapes this evening, or this week, I should say, really, because you may not be listening to it in the evening. So Moondog, somebody I was sort of vaguely aware of, and I knew what to expect sound-wise, really, but very interesting guy. His real name's Louis or Lewis Thomas Hardin. Apparently, he was very influential on Steve Reich and Philip Glass. He was also blind from the age of 16. Do you know the story of how he was blinded?
I don't know how he was blinded, no.
Apparently, he found an unknown object in a field behind his house, and it was a dynamite cap, and it blew up in his face and permanently blinded him.
Wow.
So there we go. So anyway, why was this your left of centre choice?
I'm a big fan of Moondog's music. I kind of discovered him in the late 80s, I think. He's just an amazing character. He kind of spent a lot of time busking on the streets of New York, dressed as a Viking with a huge beard. And his music's just, it's very avant-garde. Great arrangement of horns on this one. And the time signatures are quite interesting with his music. And the percussion, he makes up a lot of his, the percussion instruments are kind of homemade. I don't know, he's an eccentric, and his music just takes you somewhere else. It's very New York, I suppose, but, in say left field.
I thought the vocals towards the end almost gave it a bit sort of a theatrical feel. It felt like a chorus.
Yeah. I don't know who the vocalists were. I think it's just a beautiful song, New Amsterdam.
Well, I thought the reason I played the two together, I thought the two segue together really, really nicely. So yeah, that was Moondog with New Amsterdam from a 1997 album called Sax Pax for a Sax, apparently. Now, before we get to your wildcard choice, I'm going to have to get my phone out here because being a middle-aged man, I don't understand TikTok or whatever it is that the young folk are listening to these days. So Steve's Mixtapes has a Facebook group, which you can find a little way where you can search for it on Facebook, or you can, there's a link on the webpage, stevesmixtapes.com. And Warwick Allen, I put on there last night that I was speaking to you tonight. And Warwick Allen said, if you get a spare minute, can you ask him a geeky question about guitars? So this is about the guitars used in the film. Now, I play the guitar a little, but only for my own amusement, and I know nothing about the techie side of it. But Warwick says, did he deliberately choose certain guitars to get a particular sound that he had in mind, or was it simply that the guitars he was able to get his hands on at the time gave him that sound and he was stuck with it?
The latter, yeah. I've never been a big collector of guitars. Being left-handed, the choices always limited, more so back in the 70s when I first started playing. I mean, I don't know which period he's asking about, like the early Fall guitar sound I had was it was a Stratocaster that had been stolen from a music shop and was sold to me in a bag in pieces for like 50 quid. So I put it back together and chopped up the body and made it left-handed. And so I had this Strat that I got for 50 quid because it had been stolen. So I was really lucky to get a decent guitar, a Fender Stratocaster. It was my first solid body electric guitar. So that was the sound, but it's just because that's the guitar I found in my hand, And I didn't have the money to be kind of buying expensive guitars, so I just had that one good guitar. And so the Fender Strat was my sound for a long time. And then I've gradually ventured to Fender Telecaster for a while, a big jump. Then now in the studio I play a nice Gretsch guitar. But live I started actually playing a Les Paul Jr. copy made by Harley Benson, which is the cheapest guitar I've ever bought new. And it's a great guitar for live work. It's got one P90 pickup and a wraparound bridge like a Les Paul Jr. And I use that live just because it's nice and light. And it's just a really minimal instrument. I like to get to know the guitar I've got. I don't like too much choice, I don't use effects pedals. I don't like use fancy amps. I'm kind of just working with what I find to hand kind of guy, minimalist approach. I just plug a guitar into an amp and try and get a sound out of it, and then just work with that. Just use my ears, A lot of it's about ringing the sounds out of the instrument. I don't, as I say, I don't rely on expensive effects pedals and things like that to get a sound.
Oh, well, thank you for answering that in quite a bit of detail. I'm sure Warwick will be really excited. A, that I asked you the question, and B, that you responded at such length. He'll be great. Right, okay. So hard. At this point in the mix, you can throw in something, whatever you want. And you went for another band that I don't really know very well, although this has nagged me. I've been listening to this mix a lot since you sent it to me, and it sounds like somebody else, but I can't put my finger on who it is. The band is called the Growlers. So tell me about this choice.
Well, this is another one of my kind of favourite go-to bands from the last 15 or so years. They've been around longer now, maybe getting up to 20. But they're a West Coast American band. They're kind of quite prolific. They made a lot of records. They started off being quite lo-fi, but they've really got their own sound. Brooks Nielsen, the singer, he's got a very distinctive voice, great lyrics. I actually find a lot of parallels with the Fall for me. I mean, I have. It's like I haven't got a Fall. Fall fans have got the Fall, but I'm too close to that. I can't be a fan. And to me, the Growlers are kind of like the Fall. They're not like the Fall at all. They're West Coast American guys, but from a different generation. But in a way, it's something you can dive into. They've got their own sound, their own little universe. And I like it. I like exploring all their albums and the.
I really like the song. I thought there was almost a slight 50s feel to it lurking in the background.
This is a more commercial album. Chinese Fountain was like when a lot of the fans thought they sold out when they made this album. But this track, it's actually what you're hearing. I think is Buddy Holly in the chorus. Yeah. It's like Buddy Holly, which is not typical of them, but I'm hearing Buddy Holly in this one. And I just love this track. It's one of the more innocent and optimistic of their songs. Rare Hearts. It's just a beautiful love song.
All I see is her obsidian eyes. They black out all of my
That was the Growlers with Rare Hearts from their 2014 album Chinese Fountain, and it was the wild card choice of my guest mixer this week, which is Martin Bramah of House of All and the Blue Orchids and the Fall, of course. Now, House of All are on tour next month, well, possibly this month by the time I get this out. I'll put a link to all the dates on the website, which is stevemixtapes.com. There'll be a page for this mix with all those dates on. And I should also recommend that you obviously buy the new album, House of All Souls. Again, there'll be a link to that to buy it on Bandcamp. 10 quid, I think it is, digital version. And I don't know, I think it said the vinyl one's sold out now, hasn't it?
The clear vinyl has the fancy vinyl. You can still get the black vinyl, I believe.
Okay. So anyway, the link's there. Go and buy it. So we're on to your finale track. Now, you've gone for somebody that I know Mark E. Smith was a big fan of, and I'm sure I've seen pictures of Mark with this artist. Did you ever meet him?
I never met Link Ray, no. Yeah, again, someone I've liked from my youth. He made the guitar dangerous and sexy again. Used that word twice tonight. Sexy and dangerous. Rock and roll guitar.
I mean, I have to say, I wasn't expecting you to use the word sexy at all this evening, let alone twice, Martin. Yeah. But I know what you mean. There is something really throughout his career, something really sort of edgy, and there's like a hint of violence almost about Link Ray's guitar, isn't there?
More than a hint, yeah. And well, yeah, big influence. This track could almost have been me when I was 18. It's got that early Fall sound, I think, without the vocal, obviously. Yeah. So I thought I'd end it with something that was kind of influential on my own playing.
Okay. Well, no, I think it's a great song to end with. So we're going to hear it in a moment. It's Switchblade by Link Ray, which is from the album Bullshot. So just before we hear that, Martin, just say many thanks. It's been great. Thank you for finding the time. Good luck with the tour. Yeah. I hope it all goes well, and with the album and everything as well. So all the best.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Great show.
Switchblade.